We started our business in 2003, and there's been substantial changes not only to the market, to marketing, but right across our industry in the auctioneering space since that time. What we've seen now is a lot more auctioneers entering the market. Some might argue that's as a result of businesses like us starting up, and there's lots of other businesses. But the good news for auctioneers is that there's plenty of business out there for everybody. And I guess really what we focus on is about having great marketing, being great auctioneers, but it all comes back to what value do you add to the end user. And the end user is our owners, the sellers, the public who are selling their property, mums and dads, whether it be selling commercial property or selling residential property. Ultimately, we need to add value to that person. And the real estate agent contracts the auctioneer to sell the home. As part of that transaction, we're an extension of the real estate agent's business. So we're very well aware of the fact that the agent does all the hard work prior to the auction, and it's how the auctioneer interacts with that agent that ultimately is the combination of the 3 or 4 weeks of hard work the agent has put in to then getting the best result on auction day. 2015 was a great year for me personally. I did circa 2,300 auctions. Yes, it's a lot of volume. I'm calling roughly 50 auctions a week, but that's what I love. That's what I'm passionate about. I genuinely love standing in front of a home or standing in an auction room and saying to myself, how can I get more out of this buyer? I don't think much about the house. I don't think much about the asset that I'm selling. I'm not often thinking about what that property or the perceived value of that property is. All I'm thinking about is I've got 1 buyer, 2 buyers, 15 buyers in front of me. How can I get the most out of these buyers, which is going to put more money in my seller's pocket? And while ever I've got that attitude and while ever I'm thinking about how can I get the best result for the client, I'm still passionate about being an auctioneer, and that's why I love calling so many auctions. I first started in real estate in April 1999, and I started as a leasing consultant. I moved into property management, and I had leasing and property management as my core purpose in real estate. And at that time, and still possibly to this day, leasing and property management is a good place to start to get a good grounding in what real estate is all about. I believe that there are too many people entering the industry that want to become sales associates and salespeople and making $500,000, $1 million, $5 million. They hear these incredible numbers that are thrown around our industry and they want to get to the top straight away. I've been in the industry since 1999. I started in property management and leasing. I did that for 3 years. I started dipping my toe into becoming an auctioneer, but very quickly as I got into the auctioneering space, I realised that this is what I really wanted to do. I was a great talker. I was never afraid to stand in front of a crowd and have a conversation with people, and I enjoyed selling. And I guess the auctioneering world for me took off so quickly that the idea of becoming a real estate agent never really entered my mind at that point. I was really lucky in the early stages of my career, and still to this day, about having great mentors. And I think to be successful in real estate and to be successful in anything, you need to have great mentors, people who are willing to teach you, people who are willing to give you a hand on how to improve, how to get better, ultimately how to fine-tune the skills that you have off the back of your own intuition. Being a great auctioneer is very difficult. There is a big difference between an auctioneer and a great auctioneer, and it can often mean the difference between getting a good price for your home or getting a great price for your home. But there are a lot of skills that you do develop, and unfortunately a lot of those skills do happen as a result of calling more auctions, getting more experience out in the field. So the more auctions that I called, the more experience that I was able to have. And ultimately you make mistakes, and when you make mistakes you learn from those mistakes, and when you learn from those mistakes you just hope that you don't make them ever again. And it's this experience that ultimately has I guess made me the quality auctioneer that I am today. But in the auctioneering space, early in the days when I first started, there weren't a lot of people that wanted to teach you a lot about being an auctioneer. There was always the fear of taking clients, winning their business, and more and more auctioneers were entering the industry at that time. Now, there are lots of auctioneers in the industry. More real estate agents are becoming auctioneers. It's becoming a lot more popular for agents to call their own auctions. But we see in Sydney there's a great value add of contracting a professional auctioneer that simply concentrates on how to be a great auctioneer. And I think that there is a big difference between being a real estate agent and being a great auctioneer. And this is what we do when we go to doctors. This is what we do in so many different facets of life. We employ people who focus specifically on one task. And that's what we do, and that's what we do really well.